All right, guys. So let us start with our session. I hope everyone is pumped up and ready to get a lot of knowledge that is going to be really useful to you, hopefully. So, to begin with, I will start by introducing myself and introducing the session to you. I am Vandna Dhingra. I was a Nirma graduate of 2013 to 2017 batch from Electronics and Communication. I will be your host for this session, and the session that we are about to take up today, it is called a roadmap to placement for soft branch, designed by team Prarambh. So this Prarambh team is basically, oh, okay. So just before starting and moving ahead, I would like all of you to know. I'd like to know if you can hear me firstly, and if everything is clear or audio wise. And in case if you have any questions, we will have a final Q&A session at the end of this, and there we can take up as many questions as you want. Also, you will be getting a hang of all the speakers that we have in this session through our LinkedIn profile, and you can get in personal touch with them if you, because each one of us has a very different story to talk about, to relish. So, in case if you are looking for some personal guidance from any one of us, you can directly ping us or text us or get connected through LinkedIn, and which will put you through. Apart from that, the flow of the session is going to be introducing Praram to you, the need of Praram, and then we will be covering, since it's a placement season, right? We will be covering few aspects regarding how and resume building, internships, and elective courses that you have taken up. What are the possible options? What are the options for off campus placement? But amongst all of this, there is a last topic which is going to be the most relevant given to the current situation, which is going to be about COVID-19 placement, placement opportunities during this pandemic. A lot of you must have a lot of doubts in that section, so we have kept that section till at the end, to keep the flow going and for you to get the answers quite right away when that topic comes up. So that's how the flow of the session is going to be. Firstly, let me talk about Praram. Why have we come up on this platform and why are we trying this? So I remember at the time when most of us were in college and we were trying our hands on placement, getting internships at various stages of the 4 years of engineering. There were a lot of times where we always thought that it would have been really helpful if we would have got some advice from the person who has done this like a year before, or maybe 2 years before, or maybe 4 years before, so that you can really know what is the market of your business like, what is the job opportunity like, and then maybe you can move ahead along with that. But unfortunately it was not the case, and fortunately enough we landed ourselves in good position that we are able to talk to you about our experiences today. So there is no denial in the fact that Nirma prepares you for the best, and it also prepares you for the worst. But then definitely the platform of Praram is to get you in touch or get you through the seniors of each branch, for allowing you to get more and more knowledge in this field, for allowing you to understand what you're getting into before just step in, and making sure that you are taking calculated risks in your life, in your career. So that is what is the main motto of Praram. I hope this session will be helpful to each and every one of you in one way or the other. Moving ahead, I would like to introduce you to our speakers tonight. First up, we have Nisarg Dave. Nisarg is currently working as a lead data scientist at Group K Diagnostics. He has his expertise in the field of AI, ML, deep learning, data scientist, and modeling. So with so many incomparable skills that he has, he will be one of the speakers tonight. Next up that we have is Yusra Sheikh. Yusra Sheikh is a 2014 to 2018 batch graduate, and she's currently working at White Hat Junior as a tutor for applied tech, ML and AI, with areas covering OWASP, VAPT, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Next up, we have Priyal Gupta. I would like all the speakers to just put on their videos and wave a hand to our audience if possible. And next up, we have Priyal Gupta. She's currently working as an analyst at Goldman Sachs Bangalore, with her role covering various aspects of backend engineering in Python, Java, and basics of machine learning. Next in the list, we have Tanha Shah. Tanha Shah is currently taking a step ahead by securing admission at one of the most prestigious universities, Georgia Tech, and has been offered a teaching assistantship in second semester at Georgia Tech. Moving ahead, next we have is Hardik Prajapati. Hardik has was placed in HUL as an executive in Barotiwala unit. He then went on to manage the plant as a manufacturing executive. Currently, Hardik is planning for masters in science. Next up in the list, we have Sarvam Miyani. He did his internship at GE Electric R&D Center. He has been in close association with Reliance Smart Manufacturing Group at Vadodara and currently works as a maintenance engineer at Reliance Jamnagar. His prime focus is G6 Super Homes, a home automation startup with aim to bring manufacturing of smart home production in India. Next up in the list, we have Chitra. She's a full stack developer at CDK Global. She works as an IT professional. So that's that. And also we have with us Abhishek Dabhi. Dabhi is a 2013-17 graduate from Electronics and Communication. He was placed at NXP Semiconductors Noida through campus and is currently working there as a full-time employee in the timing closure department at the backend engineering field. Introducing me, I work as a backend design engineer. Alongside, I am pursuing my master's in VLSI from IIT Madras. I work as a backend design engineer at Qualcomm Bangalore currently. This is the second job that I have switched because through campus I was placed at NXP Semiconductors India. So that's where we have the introduction of all our speakers. Moving ahead, this is a small quote that I would like to start our journey with. It is about success. That it talks about the fact that being successful is not a destination; it's a process you have to drive your life towards, and that's what we are doing, and that's what we expect that you do as well. And wherever in this journey you need assistance or help from any one of us, we are there for you, and this platform gives you that opportunity to be the front drive to be at the front seat of your life, and rather than just going ahead with the flow. So that's how it is. I would like to take a moment to talk about the big picture of what are the various aspects and what are the various things you can do once you graduate. Our main focus here is going to be talking about the placement directly through campus, but if you see this chart here, it talks about what are your possible options, what are your possible journeys that you can plan for yourself. And believe me, this is a really small chart with with 10 or 12 of us who are with you as a speaker today evening. Each one of us has a different journey that we have taken up, a different path that we have taken up. So counting on you as being 70, 80 of you amongst us, there would be definitely a different path that you will take. But yeah, there is definitely an option of getting campus placements. Then there is an option of doing masters in management, masters in science, masters in tech, going for working for the nation, doing IAS, IPS. joining army, navy, or it could be somebody of you following your passion. You could be a chef, you could be a writer, you could be a musician, or you could be anybody else for that matter. You could be joining your father's business. Okay, so eventually, one thing which stays common with all of this is your hard work, is the urge to become something, the urge to achieve something, the urge to give back to the society. All right, so this is about various paths which you can take up in your engineering. Moving ahead, this small thing is, so you must have all heard about, right, world wide web, that's the www, but that's not what the w4 here stands for. So we are mainly going to focus upon the what, where, why, and when of placement, and what we can do. Okay, just before moving ahead, I would want any one of you, if you have a problem with understanding things in English, full in complete English, you can please let us know in advance so that we can manage our pace as well as manage our language. Okay, so that's because we don't want you to be getting 10% of it and 90% could be racked because of the lack of language. So please let us know in the chat box, and Preet, please confirm to me if there is some issue like that. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Preet. Okay, so moving ahead, the what, where, why, and when of placement. So this session is about that. What do you want to do? Where do you want to do it? When should you do it? And why should you do it? Right? So covering all the aspects of these four questions, which are the most boggled during this seventh semester, or maybe at any semester of your career. So we will be beginning with that. So the topics or the outline of the topics that we are trying to cover here is as follows. As I rightly mentioned, tackling about the problems in the COVID-19 situation, drafting of your resume, and also covering the aspect of how do you design a company specific resume for a particular job which you are applying for. We are also going to cover the aspect of targeting off campus companies, and in terms of what all to prepare, how to crack your aptitude test, what is the importance of internships, projects, research paper, electives that you take, what are the possible fields you have as an option, and the most important one, what if you have less pointers, what can be done in that case. Okay, there is an extracurricular option, the necessity or the need of extracurricular, and in case if by any means you are not into the core company and during the time of your placement you get placed in some non-core, how can you manage to switch from non-core to core. Okay, so these are the various aspects that we'll be covering. Some of these are general, which are applicable to all the four branches which are present here, which I will be covering, and rest all, moving ahead, we will have our speakers take up the questions as we go ahead. Okay, which will be specific to the branch. Okay, so moving ahead, I am going to first talk about the aspect of resume building. Resume is something which is the first impression of you to the recruiter. Let's take it as a way that when you come to campus, when you come to college, you don't necessarily judge a campus by you know what is the subjects they are offering, who are the teachers, and what you judge a campus by its beauty, by its building, by its infrastructure. So and most of us, right, when we came to Nirma, the first day when we came to Nirma, and that would be definitely during somewhere during the rainy season, it's campus, the beauty around it, the trees around it, that must have definitely made a will inside you that yes, you must have taken a right decision by getting into this campus, by taking up this job. Okay, similar to that, when a recruiter is looking for recruiting someone, resume is the first level of filtering. Resume is the first level of impression that it gives to the person who is willing to hire. Okay, so working on a perfect resume is very is as important as, scoring in your exams, or getting good project, or having technical knowledge, being as an engineer. Okay, so what to do. So this is the first time for people who are in fourth year, right? You must have already worked on your resume by now, and the people in the third year might be wanting to work on it. So I will talk about various aspects of resume building here, and then we can move ahead. And in terms of building your resume, what is the thing which you should keep? Okay, so there are two formats in which you can build your resume. One is a single page format, and second one is the double page format. Okay, so the single page format is more precise, clear, and very crisp in terms of things you have done, and and what all you have in your skill set. But being in college fourth year, everyone can have a very different requirement. I mean, it can depend on the company also, what type of resume they are asking you. But based on my personal experience, my initial resume which I had was a two-page resume with for my campus placement, since I had a lot of things which I wanted to highlight into it, and I wanted to show myself off very properly on that paper, so that somebody who is looking at it knows what exactly who I am, what I am, and what all things I am capable of. Okay, and moving ahead. Okay, so that's something. There are two examples on the screen here for the resume. So if in both of these, the first thing that you see is your name. All right. The first thing that you see on the header is your name. Then it's your phone number, it's your email ID, and it could be your address, which is an optional thing in a resume. All right. Apart from that, you can put up your picture, passport size photograph into your resume. That is also an optional thing, but I would recommend you to do it. Okay, the next thing that comes into your resume is your career objective. Okay, so what you are seeking, what do you have in you, what do you want to achieve? So that's something. Then the next thing that will come is your educational background. So so currently in your fresher year, when you are talking about your educational background, you talk about your scores you talk about in an order from top to bottom. Okay, so the top thing has to be your current CGPA, or your current PPI in the college. Okay, up to 7th semester or 6th semester, whatever grade sheet you have got. Post that, you have to, I would recommend you to put your marks about, whatever percentage you got in your HSC and your SSC. So those also you can include. Post that, you can talk about various technical skills in terms of any languages that you know, any particular software you know well, or any sort of additional skill set or any certification that you have achieved apart from your college. Okay, going ahead, you have to talk about your internships, and then you have to talk about your projects. Okay, so internships are an important part of your resume building currently, because because if somebody is going to if I'm not wrong, there is an internship which is a mandatory one before third year, or somewhere between third and fourth year. So you can talk about it, things you have done in that internship. Make it short and crisp, but yeah, put it there, put it out there if you have done something. And then talk about your projects. Project orders should also be from top to bottom, meaning your most recent project should be on the top, and your project that you have done somewhere in third semester or something should go in the bottom of the list. But that is again not not a very general guideline. That will depend upon the companies which you are applying for, about which these speakers will talk about when they talk to you about drafting a company specific resume. Okay, post projects, you can talk about any extracurricular or co-curricular activities which you have done in or any certification you have achieved for the same. Say suppose if you're part of club, you have had some good role there, you have achieved you might have had a position there. So all those things you can put at the later end. And towards the end you can talk about your personal information, or also you can talk about your personal skills, like you are a good social speaker, you are good at socializing, you are a hard worker, you are a collaborative worker. So these are all big keywords, but every individual knows how much of an collaborative worker he or she is. So you can put those points towards the end according to your will. All right. So if you see, you can talk about, you have leadership skills, you have a progressive approach towards thing, you have a positive outlook. Anything can come into that section, but it should be a very small one liner, not a big one. Okay. Moving ahead, there is a moving ahead, the next topic, which is almost, to every branch is there, that is a question, is the matter of less pointer. So, from what I have experienced, and I have talked to people who are currently into the college, into the system, I've heard that most of the companies which are coming to your campus have a placement criteria of 7 to 7.5 at least, at max. I mean, they are hiring in that range. Okay. So what do you do if you have such scores? And since this is your seventh semester now, there is a very little scope to improve your pointers to a level of, say, if you are at 5, you cannot move it to 7.5 in one semester, and by that time most of the companies will also be gone. I understand that fact, but do not get disheartened by the fact that you have lesser pointer. Obviously, I am not sugarcoating the fact that they do matter, because the first level of screening that companies do is based on pointer when they are hiring freshers. But there are always ways through which you can approach people or firms off campus as well, and you can add to your skill set various courses, various activities, or various the skills or various programming languages that you know, which can make you stand out in even if you have a little bit lesser pointer. Okay. And then in case if that even that doesn't work out, right, that you do not get into off campus, your skill set has improved but nobody is willing to hire, there is always an option of, if taking a job is the only option for you, I would suggest there are companies which come to our campus which may not be the core ones, but you can at least secure your job in one of those companies, and meanwhile keep updating your skill set and keep targeting it. Okay, keep targeting it. Maybe year or a year down the line you might get another opportunity, or maybe year down the line you have that will that I will pursue my masters, I'll do mtech or I'll do ms, and then I'll be able to get a job. Because a lot of people even from my batch have done the same. So because they were never a bad engineer. It could be their approach of appearing in the exams, or approach of tackling projects, which made them a little bit lesser in terms of pointers in compared to other, but that does not guarantee that you have lesser knowledge than anyone of else. So as I told you rightly, right, if there are 80 of you in this call, each one of us is going to have a very different path in career, each one of us is going to make different choices. The only thing which is going to matter is that you are the one who has made that choice, and you are the one who is following the path that you want to. It should not be based upon what anybody else, because people will come and guide you, but I think what is really important is you should decide what you want to do, how you want to do it, and then proceed with it. Be clear about it, because if if you aren't, you should take a time, maybe a week, take a month, but clarify these thoughts in your mind and make a roadmap for yourself. That will really help you. So that's about the topic of matter of less pointer. Moving ahead is the topic of extracurricular. Okay, so a lot of people have had this question that how much extracurricular is necessary, how much extracurricular is an okay curriculum, how much extracurricular is, good for your resume as well as for your studies and all that. There are a lot of question about it. Let me tell you one thing very clearly. Uh, no amount of extracurricular can be 100% useful or 100% not useful. I'll talk about a very different aspect of this activities that we do in our college, and how, you must have heard that people in this club, whosoever gets into this club gets a very nice job, whosoever is becomes a president, whosoever does this has a very nice job, has a very nice career path. It's not the fact that they have organized fest and done, I mean, obviously they have done things, that's why they are in that position. But what these extracurricular add to you, it adds to you an outspoken behavior. It adds to you a skill set of collaborating with people. It adds to you a skill set of making people understand what you want, working with people, making them understand what you want, getting the things done. Okay. And all these three things which I pointed right now are some of the most important things. Big firms, corporates spends uh, you know lakhs, crores of rupees in building these things in their employees. Okay. So if you have it beforehand in you, there that is a definition, definitely an add-on for the companies, right? I'll this is a big picture of how extracurricular can be useful or not. I will talk about one more personal experience in this term. So when I had sat for my campus placement, so to give you a very small brief background, I was a part of two clubs when I was in Nirma. For one, I was the marketing head. For the other, I was the president. Okay. And if I remember, I'm not going to take any club's name here, but yeah. So if I remember, the presidency, the day on which this presidency was handed over to my juniors, and on the very next day, NXP was coming on campus. Okay. And I cleared my technical round. I went for the technical interview also, that was also done. And before me there were already 4 or 5 people who had done technical interview, but somehow I was the first person who got called for the HR round. And it was a bit tricky. I mean, I didn't know why they are calling me so fast, but I went inside. And my entire HR round was not based on my commitment or how long will I stay in the company, if I am targeting any other exams for myself. It was not based on that. It was based on the fact that you have written so many extracurricular points in your resume. Tell us how did you do it. They were testing my people skill there. My task in my HR round was more of a roadies event, where I was asked to plan out one of the event for the company. They asked me the things that I will have to take care, people I will have to include, the number of, you know person head that I will need for that event. So that's what was my HR round. So this is a personal experience. But yeah, what is this is just particular to me. But if I'll talk about the experiences of anybody else who was hired that evening, they did not had the similar experience. They had a very different experience than this. They were tested more upon, how much they can speak, how much commitment they can carry for the company, and all those things. So it's not like that if you have not involved yourself in clubs, it will not work out for you. Most important thing is that you have to be collaborative, you have to show yourself out, you have to prove to the recruiter that you are up to the mark. Okay. So that's about the general points. Now from here we are going to move to CE and IT company branch. And the first topic that we are going to talk about in CE and IT is the drafting a company specific resume. So, people that we have from CE and IT, can you take up this question, please? Nisarg, can we start with you?
Hello, can you
Yeah,
guys
hi,
hear me?
Nisarg. Yeah, Nisarg, we can.
Alrighty, so hello everyone. Today I'm gonna talk about internships, importance of internships, and importance of projects and research paper from my angle or from my point of view. Basically, my background is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science side. So I'll also incorporate some of the aspects in that particular domains of expertise too. So let's first dive into the importance of internships in general. So for CS or for any computer science graduate, academic and industrial knowledge that differs a lot in its own way. So, but both are equally important. So industrial experience is more kind of pragmatic, whereas academical experience is more of a research based. It's in a research based setting. It's in a trial and run kind of environment. So you do try several methods and then test it, and that kind of environment you build the projects. Now, why internships are necessary? So first thing is it will give you opportunity to browse the areas of your interest. So basically, I was interested in data science back in Nirma. So I did to cover the internships regarding as a data scientist or data science intern in one of the Ahmedabad's firm. And I did explore several domains such as machine learning and stuff. I did even deploy deep learning models and stuff. So in that way, I got the hands-on experience of particularly my field of interest. Now, during my all the internship stints, I have even worked on all the data science project lifecycle or software engineering project lifecycle. Let's say from doing data munging to cleaning to exploratory analysis to building models and to deploy models, and even to test and validate that stuff too. So that kind of application oriented scenario I was experienced when I did my internship stints. Now, most of the experiences or internships or trainings and all that stuff is very useful when you apply for the future full-time job, and even if you do the masters and higher education and stuff. So it will always add on that experience and that extra level of stand out in terms of your resume. So that's pretty much it. Now I have some more things to add on to projects. That's about open source projects. In computer science, software engineering, or even in data science, open source matters a lot. So helping community, building up community, and helping people out there, it's really very necessary. So you can browse for a lot of GitHub's open source projects, such as, let's say, if you want to contribute to some frameworks, some libraries, or some tools, or improving some tools and all that stuff. So you can take on that, kind of work on that. For example, fixing bugs for OpenCV library. OpenCV is for basically computer vision stuff. So you can do that kind of stuff to add it to your resume, and that will even benefit you when you apply for jobs and even do the MS and stuff. Another things is, like, you can have the experience with different code modules. Let's say adding some functionality. Let's say I am adding some parallelization code for the scikit-learn algorithms, like machine learning algorithms of scikit-learn library. Or even if I'm like developing some functionality in open source WebKit framework that is being used for Safari, Google Chrome, and all the browsers and stuff. And even you can contribute in your way to completely build the open source solutions that will help the community out. So that's about, in brief, about internships and projects. Now let's move on to the research papers and how they can add up to your experience, how they can help you in terms of getting job, how they can add values to your overall profile. Let's say if we talk about projects and research papers, both are kind of similar but in a different way. So let's say research papers focus on more of a research work. It does comparative analysis, novel approaches based research, or finding the new algorithm or new approach for whole software workflow or whole software life cycle. So you get to learn a lot. You get to explore various domains or various arenas. You get to decode algorithms. You get to learn how their internal mathematics or how their internal logics or fundamentals work. And you also get to explore background theories, because first stage in the software engineering research cycle is basically explore the background theories and get the particularly literature surveys and all that stuff together, and then focus on design and implementation, then focus on real world definition of project or problem, and kind of test it on a real world data. And the next step will be to find the room for the future improvements, and which will all include this kind of critical thinking, creativity, and some of the programmer level thinking, some of the machine level thinking. That kind of ideas you will include particularly. So this particular stuff will add a lot of superficial value to your profile in general. Now, when I say projects, research projects are mostly kind of a normal projects that you do, because you get to experience each and every fundamental in a deeper way. You get that real understanding of technological stack. You can understand the problems in a user's way, or even in a developer's perspective or viewpoint. You can even take that particular opportunity ahead with your designing fundamental CS skills that will help further in solving that real world problem. So everything is interconnect and everything works in an integrated way, and that you realize when you do real world projects. And that's what the hiring managers are looking for. They do not ignore your projects. Whether, let's say, if you are good at coding, that doesn't suffice. You should be able to tackle the real world problem, kind of do some all the software SDLC cycles and stuff, and you get to experience everything, that how that works all together. You get to deploy stuff, application, or let's say software framework, or let's say library, to the real world users. So that's what basically you will get exposure about when you do projects, when you do research, or when you do internship stints. So I would suggest at last, like, do at least 4 or 5 projects before placement, like real mini or major projects kind of projects. Or let's say if you are into more of a machine learning side, or if you are more into software engineering side, do more of a, let's say, image recognition kind of, image classification kind of, handwritten digit recognition type of projects, to help your profile boosted with. Or even if you are into software engineering, do something like, build the systems or websites for some of the shopping malls, or some of the library management systems, or something like that. So you get idea of all the modules, how they are integrated together and how they work together. So that's pretty much it from my side. Thank you, Vandna, for that. And you can always feel free to reach out to me if you have any doubts specific to data science or AI.
All right. Thanks, Nisarg, for enlightening our students with so much of knowledge. I think I also got to learn something new about a lot of things. Maybe I'll contact you someday to understand it a bit more. Moving ahead, we have with us Priyal Gupta. Priyal, do you want to take up your experience on these, your exposure on these questions, please? Priyal, you are on mute. You are on mute.
Okay. Yeah. Am
Yeah,
I audible?
yeah, Priyal, you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So thanks, Vandana. Yeah. So Nisarg correctly pointed out about the internships, projects, training, research papers. Yeah, that's correct. So I'll tell more about the drafting of company-specific resumes. Uh, we will be having lots of companies coming up for various different profiles. If you have a company coming for a web developer, then of course you have to highlight your tech skills and your uh, your projects, your areas of interest on the basis of your web designer side. So basically, you can highlight there you are interested in Node.js. If you have worked any projects with Node.js, React.js, so you can highlight there. And then if you have any company coming for an Android developer, or maybe from Samsung, so they might be looking for an Android developer. That's for it's sure. I mean that you can assume, and also you have to go to the JDs as well. Whenever the company visits, they'll send us the JD, and you have to go through that as well. So check out the skills, what they are looking for, and so the Samsung's example in the Android developer. So you can mention there your Android projects which you have done in this, and then
Uh, Priyal, you there?
yeah, yeah. Sorry, it got disconnected. Am I audible?
Yes, Priyal, you are.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was about drafting company specific resume. And then if you want to target off campus companies, so you can of course message on LinkedIn. You can have, first thing, that is the most important thing, you should have a LinkedIn profile. You should, okay, so once you have it, you should have all your skills exposed. You should think this as your second resume, because like, if you want to contact people around different companies, which are companies which are not visiting to our Nirma, so you can contact there, you can send connection request, you can message them. So it's like, if you message 250, then 10 people will respond, at least they will respond. But yeah, I'm talking from my personal experience. Many people get the jobs from LinkedIn as well. So second comes the referral, like you have lots of seniors working there, different companies, then you can contact your seniors as well, your alumni, and they can surely help you out with that. And then there are various job portals as well, like Naukri.com, Cutshot app. I have heard these applications, like you can create your profile, and then you can send out your resumes to them. And the last, like the careers page, that is like the open option. Every time you can search for the jobs there and then send out the resume. And then like for cracking an aptitude test, so that is like a gateway for every exam, a placement exam which you have. So for aptitude test, it basically contains your um, questions which are generally common to CAT and GRE exams as well. So you can take help of your friends who are appearing for CAT or GRE exams, and you can ask them questions like, and you can try it yourself, and practice by yourself. And not only about the aptitude, in this section you also have some of the basic core questions about a database, OS, computer networks, and yeah, and the coding languages as well, the basic OOPS concepts. So like, you should be clear about these concepts as well. And the most important is data structures and algorithms. So like, this is not only important for freshers, but it will be beneficial for you even when you are experienced. So it's like, it will never leave you off. So you have to be clear by the basics of data structures and algorithms. Yeah, so this covers mostly the aptitude test. So this is part of the coding test, the first round. So that you should try to crack upon. And then the projects. So yeah, as Nisarg mentioned, like, you can have, on the basis of your interest, you can create your you should have multiple projects. So it's like, the interviewer will for CSIT students. So we have lots and lots of use cases if you think about it. So you can create multiple projects. If even if Nirma is not telling to create project, to have mini or major project, then you can create by yourself. There are various use cases available on internet. Like, you can have open source projects, which Mr. told you already. So yeah, so you can focus on those, and you should also have one programming language from the basics. I mean, yeah, there are various programming language, Java, Python, C++, but yeah, at least concepts of one programming language, I suggest you to have it clear, because that really helps you a long way around. So yeah, so I think that's it from my side. Yeah, and if you have any questions, you can surely ask me. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Priyal. I think that yours and Nisarg's input had clarified most of the doubts, but I would also like Yusra to take up this stage and talk about something which is, if something is a bit more different than what you two have already shared with the juniors. Yusra, you there?
Yeah, Vandana, I'm here.
Yeah,
Hello,
Yusra.
everyone. Yeah, so I'll just give a brief about myself first. I have done my master's in information and network security, so I can speak up a bit about cybersecurity and that field. But the first thing I want to talk about is how to crack the aptitude test. Now, in your aptitude tests, you will have a mix of the aptitude and the coding questions, right? So the division is not half and half. the weightage for your aptitude questions is always going to be lesser than the coding questions. I'll give you an example. Once for the aptitude test, I believe of Goldman Sachs, we had 50 points for the aptitude and 100 points for two coding questions, right? Now, usually a lot of the students, they go directly to the aptitude because a majority of the students are not really proficient with coding, and it does take a bit of time to have the program work. But what I suggest is to build up your coding skills. It's never too late to start coding. That's one of the mistakes I made. I was like, it's too late to start doing it now. People were already really really good at it, but you just keep working on your coding skills. You, if you can crack the two coding questions or how many ever coding questions are there in the test, that can really set you apart from all the other students, because a majority of the students get filtered out in the first round itself because of their coding skills, right? Because they lack in that. So that's something that I want you to focus on. You have many platforms to practice on, like Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank is one or two of them, Code Chef. Now there is a bit different, I mean there is quite a bit of difference in how you attempt your coding questions normally, and the way they are given in the tests. The way to take the input and everything is a bit different. So be know about your platform. Try to code on a platform that's usually used by companies. So do that. And yeah, also work on your aptitude. The aptitude consists of your 5 core subjects, which is CS, DBMS, OS, and data structures, right? So be very good in those, because they will ask you concepts on those subjects if you clear your coding test. So that's about cracking the aptitude. Now I'll just talk about the importance of internships for with the like speaking from the cybersecurity point of view. Internships really matter a lot. I was able to get an internship at a security company, and that's where you really get to learn the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing parts. There are a lot of courses and subjects available online, but you can't really get up to date information ever. So it's very good if you're interested in this field, try to land an internship in a security company, get a hands on of the field. So speaking of cybersecurity, one thing to have in your resume is your certifications. They really matter a lot in this field. The basic certifications are Security Plus and CEH. These are the two basic certifications that companies usually look for. And if you already have them with you, then that's going to set you apart from everyone else. So I think that's what I want to talk about. And the rest of the points, Priyal and Nisarg have explained in great detail, so I don't really have to go into that. So that's all from my end. And obviously, you can reach me out if you have any further questions. Thank you. Thanks,
All
Vandana.
right. Thanks, Yusra. So, from what I understood, there are a lot of options for CEIT people. And I think, according to what interests you, you can get in touch with your seniors and post your queries on Prarambh page as well. And maybe we can get back to you. Moving ahead, we have our next branch, which is the EC branch. To begin with this, I would like to ask Mr. Abhishek Dabi to take up the stage and talk about his experiences and advices on all these topics. Abhishek, you there?
Yes, yes. Vandna, am I audible?
Yes, Abhishek, you are.
Yes. Hi everyone. I'm Abhishek Davi, 2017 EC pass out. I would not take much of your time, but I just wanted to point out here a few points which would help you get placement. So first of all, I would like to put myself as an example for the people who don't have good pointers or are not good at studies, because I remember I was not very good at studies. I had 7.5 GPIs, but yes, I was good at other extracurricular activities, good with Arduino boards and everything. So if those things are actually appealing to you, you are not cut off from the placement scenario. You can always go to placement coordinators and ask them if they can get you into something. Okay, so don't get disheartened if you don't have good marks in the theory. Okay, then one few things which I think you can start upfront. One thing, if you are looking for placement, become active on LinkedIn, make up your profile, have a good profile, and if you are going through campus placement, you don't need a good LinkedIn profile. But if you are going out of campus placement and through other media, you need definitely good LinkedIn profile. And also decide what path you are going through and look for the seniors who have been already through the same path for their guidance. Ask them what all challenges they have faced and what all things you need to take care upfront, so that you don't face those problems and you can go ahead further without any hesitation. Okay. Then one thing which I learned after joining company, which I think not easy, but everybody else would be needing. So all of us are applying for white collar jobs, right? So one thing we need to definitely learn is typing. So you need to practice. If you don't know, if you are looking at keyboard for typing, that is big no-no for the industry. That would slow you down. So if you don't know typing, then start learning that. I personally learned. We used to get really bored after lunch, so I personally learned typing after lunch times when it was really sleepy. So those are the times which you can explore for your other helping yourself. Then for EC specific, I would specifically point out that no, you need to be really understand. You need to really understand digital circuits. One topic that is asked in all of the interviews. Then there is a Verilog, understanding of Verilog and other stuffs related to Verilog. Then DFT. If you know what is DFT, yes, get into that more. That is a emerging field in the VLSI as well, electronics and communication. Okay. Then one major thing which in every interview you will see at least one or two questions, that is static timing analysis. Set up and hold the timing questions. So that is one that you need to be really sure. So one really useful blog which we used to follow for our interviews is VLSI Expert. I personally prefer VLSI Expert, but other than that, if you have there are many other blogs, so you can follow that as well. Okay. So, and in the last, I would say the only difficult part in placement is getting entry into the industry. After that, everything falls into the place. You don't need to fight for anything else. If you want whatever you are looking for, just you need one one step to take a step into industry, and after that everything will come into place. So this is all from my side. uh,
Thank you, Abhishek, for your proper detailed analysis on your experiences in this field. Thank you very much. I would like to touch upon a very few things which Abhishek hasn't here. So, in terms of drafting resume and everything, he has already talked about how you want to study. He has talked about that as well. Uh, Guys, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself because there is some disturbance. Okay, so I will talk about the first thing, which is the importance of your project and research paper. No project or research paper is of no use, because at any point, right, you will be going ahead, be it in your, even if you're not able to publish your research paper in IEEE level conference, make sure you publish it at local level or district level conferences as well. It is always helpful. It gives you an idea of writing papers, because even if you are in corporate, you will get opportunities to write your papers, submit it, file patents, file something like that. So writing a research paper will be a really helpful thing for you. It could be based on your project which you have done in sixth or maybe in seventh semester. I'm sorry if I'm going very fast, because we have a shortage of time here. Second thing I would like to touch upon is the electives that you have chosen. There are four or five major fields which I'll touch upon very quickly. VLSI, embedded, front end, back end, and then there is a coding side, which you can explore when you are going from EC side. Okay, so if you are targeting for VLSI, digital circuits, digital integrated circuits, DIC, DC, all of these, network analysis, STA, which Abhishek has pointed, are all really important topics. In terms of, if you're going for say architecture side, then MCA would be one of the elective which is really important. If you are going for into embedded field, then also you can go for the subjects which are more related to hardware side, coding, and improve upon your coding skill, get certification and all that. Apart from this, there is an option for minors degree which was offered to you, which must have been offered to you by now. If you are looking for a change of your core of course of career, then you can choose up a minor degree experiences and then decide which field you want to go for. Switching from non-core to core, that is if you are hired in Infosys or Infosys or TCS or something like that, you can obviously have a chance of switching by either keep on trying for a year. If that doesn't work out, try taking some courses, get into research lab based work, get into a startup based firm which is always open. And if that doesn't work out, you can go for studies, and maybe post that you can get into your cold field job. So that's about it in terms of the websites or the links where you can prepare for your interviews. There is a entire email which I have had with me in the since last 4 years, and I have been forwarding it to any junior who anytime ask me if how to prepare. And hopefully you must have had that email by already, and if you have not, please ping me personally. I'll make sure that I send it out to you. Okay, so that's where we are done with EC. Now we'll moving ahead with IC department. For IC, we have with us Hardik. Hardik, can you take up?
All right, hi guys. I am Sarvam. We Hardik and I are colleagues. Let me first present my views, and then Hardik can probably put in. So we already have discussed a lot of things regarding how to appear for the placement. So we have took these three questions in order to explain perspective from company side as well as from student side. So probably I am a good example in that because I was working with Reliance. I have resigned and I'm serving the notice period. Now I'm going to the startup and I have started recruiting people for my startup. So I have the perspective from both three ends. So how to decide which companies to apply for in order to focus on preparations. Now, once you choose a company, it's a very difficult and long process in order to prepare for that particular company, because in IC specifically, there's instrumentation related companies which have job roles of maintenance, and there's control related companies which are job roles of system engineers, AI, ML, and image processing, and a lot more. And also in these specific companies, there are generally the roles are distributed as R&D engineers and interfacing engineers. So if you do not decide on specific companies that you want to apply, uh, you won't be able to focus on things that you want to prepare for that. So first of all, you should set a maximum limit. My suggestion is to have 4 companies that you want to really get into, and 2 companies where the finances are, so the placement offers are good, and you should have a feel of how this process works in before going for the 4 companies. So first rule, 4 plus 2, decide 4 companies which you want to get into and 2 companies which you want to have, which you want to apply for in order to have the feel of how the process of resume, GD and interview works. All right. Second rule, how to decide on the 4 companies that you really want to get into. Uh, Two things. That's the economic scenario. Now, uh, right now you are in college, so you won't be understanding how the economics of certain market is working. For example, refining, Reliance, the economics is not so good. So what happens is in order to keep the profits at the same level, the R&D funds keep going down. On the other hand, there are electric vehicle companies where the funds are increasing for R&D. So yes, if I try to explain it further, it will take a long time. So you can ping me for this, how the economics work. Always choose company which have a rising economy. Do not go because for the first year, for the first year, some companies might give you a good placement, but then there's no growth. So after 2 or 3 years, you have to switch your companies or switch your have to go to non-core companies because of the finances. Second thing, once you have shortlisted the companies based on the economy, let's say you have 20 set and you have chosen these 10 companies which are moving forward, which are moving forward in terms of economy, then go for your interest. So as I mentioned earlier, there are AI, ML, and image processing related companies. There are maintenance companies. So depending on what subjects you like, then you choose, and then should come down to these 4 companies. Again, you can ping me if you want help regarding this. Third point. Uh, so Hardik, can you elaborate on the second question? Hardik, are you
Yeah.
there?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Sarvam. So, how to amplify your work in college? So basically, I'm just going to give you one-liners. That works as that will be working as tips. So first thing, aptitude, indiabix.com. Go over there, score 18 plus for ample of times, and you'll get the confidence. That is the one-liner for us. That was the one-liner for us. For GD, I would say take your time and just take your time to present yourself. Hello.
Yes, Hardik, you are audible.
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So for the GD section, I would say take your time to present yourself. I would share my Unilever experience. So we had this topic that we were given a budget and we had to organize a fest in a college.
Hardik, you there? I think Hardik got disconnected. Sarvam, you are there?
All right. So we discussed
Hello.
this. Let me just go on and explain what he was trying to explain. So in HUL, what happened was in GD round that they were trying to figure out how to put up a fest. So he took his time, and while people were discussing on the minute details, what he did was he converted the entire conversation from going into the minute details to first naming the event and then going into the details because it makes it easier. It's a chronological sequence that is generally followed in our college as well. So what we should do is take your time and come up with some idea in GD. It's okay if you speak less, but come up with some idea in GD which you can then handle. After which you can then handle the conversation. And the third thing is in interview, there are a lot of generic interview questions. What you need to do is understand the motive behind it, not necessarily go and write down the answers that you want to say. Just understand the motive behind those generic questions, and then when some similar question comes in interviews, you can answer it in your way because you know the motive. One example of that is when the interviewer asks the what is your expectation 5 years down the line, or such generic questions. And the final point is, so in GD as well as interview, you should call back from your experiences in college, because it gives you a 2-point advantage. You are showing that you have this skill. For example, when in GD, I would say that I hosted so and so fest, I organized a so and so fest, and because of that, I know this thing happens, and because of that, we should do that. And similarly in interview, so the 2-point advantage is to have to show off your skills and to answer it in a very apt manner. That's so amplifying your work in college is very important in resume, in GD as well as in interview. And this happens with a lot of guys that they would only write the achievements in resume. I think that should not be the case. For example, a simple DPDT robot might be a good thing for an interviewer and might not be a good thing for you. So just jot down all the things that you have done. You might feel it is something big, or you might not feel, but still that needs to be on the resume. That is one mistake I personally made a lot. All right, moving on to the last question: importance of campus placement. Sorry, I'm going really fast, but it needs to be done. So the main motive, understand the main motive behind people going for campus placement or you going for campus placement. It's not because you want to work for a company and you want to, you don't even know how the environment there is, you don't even know what you are supposed to do there. But the main objective is financial independence. So this might sound a bit tricky, but if you are sure, if you don't exactly want financial independence at this stage, or you can push it off, in this COVID scenario, I would prefer that you guys do that if it is possible. You should. There were a lot of other things that were mentioned that engineers do after engineering degree. You should pursue them because the scenario is such. All right, if you are sure that you want financial independence right now, what you should the solution is campus solution is there are many solutions, but campus placements, how does it help? There is a lot of less competition in campus placement compared to when you apply off campus, and the cost is that the opportunity is less. There are a few number of companies that would be visiting the campus, so yeah, those are the pros and cons. If you want if you want to remove the con and go for off campus placement for IC, and this is my personal experience, things don't work. This The off campus placement drive is not student driven. What generally happens is, for example, in my case, I was placed. I got an offer from 2 companies off campus, but the scene was uh, when doing my first point, that is market research. What all companies do I want to apply for? I didn't apply to them. What I did was I just came in contact with some guys working there. Then over time, it takes a lot of time, mind you. Over time, I just mentioned all the projects that I have been doing, which are similar to what they have been working on. And if I had asked that, can I get a placement there, the answer would be no. But once I explained what all can I do, then I got the offer from those guys because they wanted me in their team. So off-campus placement for IC generally is not student-driven. It is rather about establishing context and just socializing. Second thing, do not hesitate in contacting these guys even for queries and stuff. If you find someone working at, let's say, Renon, an electric mobility company, and there's an NIRMA alumni, I forgot the name. So you can just contact them. Hey, I'm interested. How do I start mimicking what you do? Or how do I learn this stuff? You would be surprised at how many guys actually revert back to you over social media. And last thing, once you are getting such offer, do not concentrate on the package that they are offering you, because they don't exactly know you, and concentrate on the growth aspects at a company. Now, after 2 years, I understand that the Reliance's 6 lakh package was not at all good compared to Fanuc Robotics 3.5, I think 2.5 or 3.5 lakh package, because a guy there after 2 or 3 years is earning way more and is enjoying his or her job. So that's it from our side. I think we have covered these questions. And yes, please feel free to contact Hardik or me or Hardik for anything for details.
All right. Thank you, Sarvam. Thank you, Hardik. Guys, we have the link of our Medium blog as well as the contact info of each one of our speakers on the Prarambh LinkedIn page itself. And the similar video will go on YouTube as well for your further references. All right. Thank you, Preet. A lot of thanks to Preet for taking up this initiative, organize it. Claps for you, man. You have done a really great job for everyone. And thank you to all the juniors who have specially stayed till the end. I am hoping that it was useful for you. We will put up a feedback session for feedback note link into your chat boxes. You can maybe fill that in and let us know what we did great and what we didn't. We will be happy to take it. Thank you, Nisarg. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Priyal. Thank you, Yusra. Thank you, Hardik. Thank you, Sarvam. And if I missed anyone, I'm sorry, but thank you all the speakers as well.
Thank you, Vandna.